Hey guys, Adam Trigger here, Wagertalk.com. We're talking Big 12 championship from Arlington, Texas, Oklahoma State against the Texas Longhorns. The betting market it looks like it's just as easy as lay any number with Texas here. It's bet all the way up to 15, but I'm here to tell you why, that maybe not so fast with just laying the points with Texas. First, I want to tell you about a special we have going on at Wager Talk this week. It's $15 off any 3-day all access pass using coupon code 15OFF3. That's 15OFF3, and you take $15 off any 3-day all access pass. And if you use it on the weekend, you're going to get all the college football championship games on this championship weekend, including anything else your handicapper has. I'll have college basketball all weekend as well. And then, of course, we have NFL on Sunday. But this game is Saturday, and we'll start with the game time because it's notable. It's an 11 a.m. local kick. The last few years, the Big 12 title game has fallen in this 11 noon Eastern slot, but the game's in Arlington. So the game kicks off at 11, and it seems to have been favorable to the underdogs. We've had a couple of dogs win this game outright in recent years. Last year, Kansas State got it done. The year before, Baylor was an underdog to this Oklahoma State team and won that game outright. So, it's certainly like a weird start time for these teams. I don't know if that necessarily favors the underdog more, but you have had scenarios where the points have played in this game over the past 5-6 years. Right now, after last week's result against Texas Tech that you can only be paying a premium for Texas. I think that was the case when this opened, and it's certainly the case now. As this line continues to climb, as we're recording this video, it's up to 15. And I wouldn't be surprised if it climbed a little bit more, because that seems to be where the market is headed here. So, I do think that there has to be a point where you consider buying in with this Oklahoma State team. Oklahoma State, I got to give this team a lot of credit. On the college football show, this team came up quite a bit early in the year, and not in a positive light. They had lost to South Alabama. They were 2-2 going into their bye week. I was hearing guys may decide, try to redshirt to squeeze another year. I thought it was odd that Spencer Sanders sort of left this program to go be a backup at Ole Miss. After being a starter for a few years, I was hearing things about NIL and how Oklahoma State didn't have a ton of it, that Gundy was going to, only there because his kid was still there. It just, it wasn't good stuff coming out of Stillwater. And yet this team has managed to win 7 of 8 to close the season. You're also going to hear people point to some regression of late for Oklahoma State, even though they're 2-3 in their last 3 games. They got blown out by Central Florida, and they've really been, sloppy the last 2 weeks against Houston and against BYU. But I look at Oklahoma State from the beginning of the season until now, no question improved, but also looking at their results, and this team tends to play up or down to their competition. If you sort of comb through the schedule, there's instances of it from September, right up until the last few weeks when they, kind of struggled to get by some inferior teams. They have outright underdog upset wins over Kansas State, Oklahoma. They knocked off Kansas when Kansas was ranked. But then there's the, blowout loss to South Alabama, the 45-3 loss at UCF a week after beating Oklahoma. So, this is an instance where they're obviously being priced at the bottom. I think they may play up to Texas here a little bit. And the other thing I think might be getting priced into the number is the thought that Texas needs to win this game huge. Because, of course, Texas, they're in the odd man out scenario potentially, depending on how these championship games play out, where they could win and still not go to the college football playoff. But again, it's like that shouldn't have any bearing on Oklahoma State's sort of readiness to play this game. So I almost think it creates like a false sort of narrative of sorts that may drive this lineup further than it should. Where we're at right now at 15, I think is the point where you have to start considering taking the points with Oklahoma State. Texas, great season for them, but they've been a favorite 10 times this year. They're only 5-5 against the spread. The one time they were an underdog, they won outright at Alabama. As a favorite, they've been overpriced. That would tell you they've been pretty overpriced this season because, again, only 5-5 against the number in 10 times as being a favorite. And now you're getting them at ultimately the sort of peak of where they've been, coming off a 50-point win over Texas Tech. So obviously everything to play for here. Oklahoma State has no reason to not show up for this game. And I do think there could be something to the 11 a.m. local kick, keeping it maybe closer than it should be, what have you. But it just feels like this is too many to lay with Texas. Again, I don't know. I haven't come in and made a client play on Oklahoma State yet, but that's certainly the way I'm looking. So if I had to pick this one right now, it would be plus 15 Oklahoma State. For more picks, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue bringing you free NFL and college football picks the rest of the season. And don't forget, use coupon code 15OFF3 for $15 off of 3 days of all access service from any handicapper at Wagertalk.